Welcome to Handicap Media Podcast. Got JP in the house.
What's up, folks? Glad to be with you tonight.
We got just JP and I tonight.
What? Hey, great time.
That's right.
But you never know. I mean, you never know what we can do here at Handicap Media.
Well, we thought about bringing the guests on. We've got some people lined up, but man, we haven't had enough just JP and
we haven't, and a chance to look back on the great stories we've already heard and look back at what people are doing.
That's right. Recap
here and abroad to break down those barriers. We're not the only ones swinging the sledgehammer.
I know. I love it. Hey, listen, I haven't told you, but I'm working on a T-shirt design. It says "Breaking Barriers with Sledgehammers."
I love it. I love it. I'll autograph one for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I will. Get the Sharpies.
They're gonna be black though, because that's all I wear.
Hey, they make silver Sharpies and everything else. We can figure something out on that. I can't wait to wear it.
So tell me what's been going on, man. I mean, we talk all the time, but give me a little bit.
You know, it's just the constant battle. You know, you guys that listen to my podcast and my journey, you know, this story is not over. You know, this story is ongoing. Right now, you know, I've been dealing with a lot in my personal life and trying to set up services to help me work effectively and get PCAs. PCAs are personal care attendants.
Right.
I personally need a little bit of help in the morning, a little bit of help in the evening, and that allows me to function independently, work, take care of my family, take care of my boys. My youngest just had surgery on his foot, so we've been dealing with that. He's been out of athletic competition, but school has started. We've been dealing with school and parenting and transportation. You know, we were chatting about transportation. This is a big barrier for so many.
Man, you're fortunate, right? You have a van. Obviously.
I have an accessible van.
Yeah.
That I have people drive for me. Unfortunately, I've been able to drive myself for a variety of reasons, but I do have people that drive for me, and the ability to get around my community in our state where we live, which happens to be the great state of Oklahoma, has fairly limited public transit.
Well, let me bounce a few of those questions off you because
Sure.
I know a little bit, but so give me somewhere in the country that would have very good transportation.
Well, I'll tell you a couple places.
Okay. Yeah.
Two, one would be Washington, D.C.,
Okay.
which has 24-hour on-demand paratransit. Now,
what is that?
Paratransit, that is wheelchair-accessible transit that is scheduled and is point-to-point. It is address to address, so it is scheduled. You have somebody pick you up at home, take you to another address, then your schedule will be picked back up.
Is that like I want to call it a taxi, but you have to do it some far in advance?
It is not it's not on demand.
Okay.
So it's got to be 24 hours in advance.
Okay.
But it is very nice.
So doctor's appointments.
And it's very inexpensive. Now, here's the thing. In D.C., one of the things I love is they have a subway that's very, very detailed throughout the metro area.
Is it handicap accessible?
Yes.
Okay.
You roll directly on it. And anybody that is paratransit qualified can ride the subway for free.
Oh, wow.
All they want.
Huh.
So when you go through the little turnstile
Yeah.
down the subway, you go, hey, I'm paratransit. And you show your paratransit ID, and you're going through, including me, because when I travel, my paratransit ID in Oklahoma travels.
Wow.
So when I go to another city, I'm paratransit eligible.
Is that a national thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
National paratransit eligible. So when I'm out there, I ride the subway more than anything because it is on demand.
Yeah.
And I can ride. And here's the second part of transportation issues, folks. I call it pedestrian access to sidewalks. If there are no sidewalks, where I live in northwest Oklahoma City, there are limited sidewalks.
Right.
So it's hard for me to get around. If there was a bus that was just a route, I probably wouldn't use it because if I got off the bus, there'd be no sidewalk. I'd be on the side of the road
Yeah, I find that interesting that you bring that up because recently, my wife and I have a property company, and we basically rent houses. and bought a house right by the University of Central Oklahoma here in Edmond.
Yeah. Home of the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos, home of the Broncos. I'm an alumni there. My alma mater.
So what's the story on the H? Why is there an H in the Broncos?
I don't know. I never asked that.
The Broncos.
It's interesting. I don't know the answer.
We need to research that.
Yeah, we do.
We've got a research team on that right now.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Uh-huh.
So, this house is right by the university.
Right.
And so I go to the city and I'm asking them about the sidewalk because this house is it's 1905. It's very old. And so the sidewalk is just demolished. I mean, you couldn't drive you could drive your wheelchair on it because you have a high performance wheelchair and you could go over that.
Bump over it.
It would be extremely uncomfortable. It would be bumpy. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
Grass growing through it's all crumbled. Now the city allows to replace that, but as the homeowner, I have to pay a portion of that. Personally.
Wow.
So that's just super confusing to me. I'm like, it's right by the university. It's right where you'd want access.
Right.
For anybody who's disabled. Not only is it an eyesore for it to not be that way.
So did they show you like a city ordinance or something?
No, there's not a city ordinance. If you privately own that house, they have like a 70-30 cost share. But there are people who are not going to repair that. It's just gonna be a broken sidewalk for so many people.
And you bring up another great point, which is currently in our city, and folks, we are in Oklahoma. If I was to want to ride paratransit from my house to University of Central Oklahoma,
right,
which is in Edmond, Oklahoma, I cannot do that because our paratransit will not go into another city.
So it won't go. So we have paratransit in Oklahoma City, is what you're telling me.
And
oh, do you?
But
they're separate.
Edmond can't go in Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City can't go into Edmond.
Why? How do people who are disabled get to a doctor's appointment?
They don't do any kind of, they call it intralata transportation.
Now, let me ask you a question, though. So if you were, and this is a big pain in the butt to do it, but if you were in Edmond and you could get transportation to the city, I don't know, you can do it. You can go to the city.
Can do it. Can do it. It really sucks. And they'll tell you, at least in the Oklahoma City where I live, that it's because they won't cost share. There's no cost sharing. But hey, here's the deal. It's happening in Dallas. When I'm in Dallas, I can ride the paratransit from Dallas
Fort Worth
to Irving, to Las Colinas, to Arlington. But that we don't have those agreements here. And that's another thing that
seems like a major flaw.
A shortcoming, yeah. It could be easily resolved.
Okay, let's go back to Washington. And you're telling me, so they have
the District of Columbia.
Okay, so they have. Not only do they have a bus system that's scheduled, but then you can take the subway. So that's a very accessible city.
Yeah, and they have a lot of sidewalks.
A lot of sidewalks. A lot of people walk, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing. They have a transit system that's attractive to people that don't drive. This applies to all things. Accessible, guys, is attractive to all. But in our state right now, we try to make solutions for people that don't drive. We don't make solutions that make people that drive want to say, do I really want to drive? Where in the big cities they do.
Right, makes sense. Right.
They sit down and have meetings and say, how do we serve these people that don't drive? They don't sit down and say, how do we devise a system that everybody will want to ride?
Right, right.
So it's because we're in a driving state. We're in a driving state.
Well, it's a large landmass.
A very large landmass.
For a city. If you talk about Oak City, it's a very large landmass of spread out. But, and it's the rush hour traffic is.
Here's a bigger issue, though. Here's something that we need to solve sooner in transportation. Why does Oklahoma City / Edmond / the Village / War Acres, Bethany, wherever, why are there not any taxi cabs that are accessible? There's not a single one.
The taxi cab system in the city here is just terrible anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's why Uber's done so well. And this around
Yeah,
here.
and the problem with Uber is it's private car, so you're not going to get accessibility.
You're not going to unless somebody does it.
Yeah, unless somebody decides to put the driver with an accessible vehicle.
That's right. Yeah.
I guess eventually.
Maybe. I mean, you'd have to do it. The problem with that is you have to overcharge, because accessible van costs more. So
You know what I noticed in D.C., though, in regard to Uber? It's very cool. They have Uber, wheelchair Uber. But what it is...
Do they really?
Yeah. What it is, though, is they have the wheelchair taxi drivers are driving around as taxi drivers, and they've also got their iPhone set up on Uber. They're just waiting for either one of them.
Oh.
And then they get... If the taxi still picks you up.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But they just have it double going. Now, my question is the cab company really cool with that? That's interesting, too. And how will that shake out? But Uber needs to become accessible. And remember that article we shared last week about Airbnb?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Same kind of concept. You got people staying in private homes. And so there's going to be a lack of accessibility.
Well, the home may not be set up for it.
Right. More than likely not.
9 times out of 10, it won't be.
I mean, you can't. On one hand, you want to say, whoa, what a bunch of BS. They're discriminating. But how can we ask people to rebuild their private homes?
Yeah, you can't ask them to do that.
That's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. We go back to it all the time. It's like talking about these laws. The laws, they always come short of what we need to be anyways, but they always force you to the wrong.
But you know what is great? That we're seeing all these technological advances. Airbnb, connecting people. That's what all these things do. Uber connects people to drivers.
That's right.
Airbnb connects people to those wanting to rent out rooms. And those are both fails overall for the disabled. But one thing that is a great victory is these new on-demand delivery services.
Yeah.
Like Postmates.
Mm-hmm.
That's become a major part of my life. These people will go to the freaking Apple store for you.
And come back, bring it back.
And bring you an iPad. If you have,
yeah, but it costs you money to do it.
It does. But for those that for the working disabled, for the people that need a store run,
it's a good service.
It's an option.
Yeah,
it's an option that I use. So it's not all bad. It's not all doom and gloom. But transportation needs to change. My van was broke down for a couple of weeks recently, and I had no on-demand transit. I had meetings that were outside of Oklahoma City, and I didn't know how to have an ability to schedule a bus ride into the nearby city.
Well, and you wouldn't even be able to rent probably a handicap accessible van hardly.
Hardly. There is a wheelchairgetaways.com. I have used them. But, it's not a turnkey solution.
Right.
When you rent a handicap van, you're more than likely going to have manual tie downs, which means the chair has to physically be tied down, so to speak.
Right.
Whereas the customized rehab van is going to have the automatic lockdowns to the chair customized. So it's not always, you got a handicap van, jump in kind of thing.
Right. It's not as easy.
Yeah.
Well, it's already labor to go somewhere. Right. It's already harder, takes more time. But now you're adding that whole another layer.
Right.
Yeah.
And a new thing I tried recently too, did you know Walmart is like, you can go online and pick your groceries out. And
that's awesome.
Go to Walmart and pick them up.
That's pretty cool service.
Yeah, you don't have to make eye contact with that girl when you have 15 packages of Oreos in your basket.
It's just in the sack.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Just put it in the bag.
Yeah, well, you're having your van kind of hindered us this last week or so.
Oh, yeah.
To do things that we wanted
that we wanted to do here at Handicap Media.
Yeah.
And we learned that the transportation issue just kind of hit us in the face.
Yeah.
That we can't schedule on demand right now. There is one service, and there's more than one, but one type called non-emergency medical transport. non-emergency medical transport.
Right.
They almost always have a handicap van.
Yeah.
They'll drive to the doctor, but they mainly make the money from Medicaid. And we know the government overpays folks for everything. So they charge the government $75 each way.
Wow. $150.
Even if it's across the street. That's the lowest it'll be. So, and then insurance reimburse you. People pay, so they charge.
But will they only pay for that for like doctor's appointments or stuff like that? They won't pay for it to, hey, I need to go down and get a pack of smoke.
No, they won't take you on a Marlboro run. But when the private citizen calls and says, hey, I'm not on Medicaid, but I want to buy a ride, they quote you $75 each way.
Huh. What about the Post-its? Is it called Post-its?
Postmates.
Postmates go get beer and cigarettes for you?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, I've heard. I don't smoke cigarettes or drink any kind of alcohol. Maybe I get thirsty every 6 or 8 months. But
don't let him fool you. He loves some good whiskey there.
I do. I'm a bourbon guy.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like a great beer too every now and then. But Postmates they will go get whatever. And what they do is you go on the app, you type in the store you want, Apple Store, whatever, Joe's Liquor Store. And then if they have their menu, if they have their items, you select them. If they don't have the item, you just type out exactly what you want. And if you know the estimated cost, type it in. And if you got a picture of it, you can attach a photo.
Cool.
And then they'll do a temporary charge on your iPhone or your phone. And then when they deliver it, they'll bring you the receipt.
I mean, how much does it cost to get something delivered like that?
Oh, it's very reasonable.
Is it?
$6 is the delivery fee.
Wow.
I mean, that to me, that's a bargain.
Yeah, it is.
And if you get one of their Postmates,
it's a super bargain if you having to get somebody to come get you to go do something anyway.
And then when you get it, they'll send you this little survey, and they encourage you to tip, which I'm always glad to do.
Sure.
On top of it.
That's interesting.
The service. But very, very Walgreens runs, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever you need.
Late night ice cream run.
Yeah, 24/7.
Yeah.
24/7. So I've been really impressed with Postmates.
Okay, Postmates. There's probably some other services like that out there.
There probably is similar. I know a lot of them haven't got to Oklahoma, but Postmates is fully entrenched here. So.
Okay, so Washington's good. Where else? Where else is good?
Definitely Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Well, we've talked about that a little bit before.
Paratransit in Las Vegas is great.
So they have paratransit there?
They don't have a subway, but they have
taxi service.
Great accessible taxi service, and they're always very accommodating with their hotel rooms. By far, the hotel rooms are most wheelchair accessible in Las Vegas. They have tiers of accessibility. Minimal ADA compliant up to what they call fully accessible.
Huh.
Fully accessible means power curtains, the Hoya lift.
Do they charge you more for that?
No, they do not. I mean, if you want an upgraded room, they have upgraded suites and things, and that would cost probably, but it's the same price as they would everyone else.
Wow, that's cool.
And the ability, my favorite is the ability to bump people from gaming tables.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Hey, I want to play here. Sorry, guy.
Mm-hmm. Then they do it.
Yeah, the pit bosses are real serious about that. They will.
Wow.
They will get you on there. So those are my two favorite. And then there's Dallas, who's a lot like us, but better. I think they go to midnight in Dallas.
That's as late as they go?
Yeah. And we just got midnight in Oklahoma City, but it's only for the very inner, central part of the city.
Like the midtown, downtown area?
Yeah.
Huh.
So if you schedule, you have to start and stop in that area. And I live further northwest, so
you couldn't do it.
I can't ride it. So we're making progress. I've met personally with Mick Cornett a couple years ago about these issues. He was very accommodating, agreed, wanted these type of things, but he acknowledged that it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell to get a penny sales tax dedicated to transportation here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
It's hard anywhere.
Because we have a negative, right or wrong, there's a bit of a negative connotation with quote unquote bus riders here. And people don't identify with as one of those. So it's
well, you don't have able bodies or tabs, as you call it.
Yeah.
Taking the public transportation around here. It's just not common to have a bunch of people riding buses or doing any of that stuff in Oklahoma. I mean, like I said, it's more of a more car driven.
Right. So
A to B places.
I did find a cool app though. You may want to also check out Driver. Driver is DRYVER.
Okay.
And it's geared towards designated driving. So
I like that.
you schedule a guy on your app. Now it's expensive. It's like $16 an hour. And they
But can you book them and then they come back?
yeah, you book them and they drive your vehicle.
Okay.
These are and they tell you about the guy. He's got a CDL. He's an off-duty limo driver. All this stuff, and they come out. He calls you or she calls you, whoever, and they come out to your home and drive your vehicle to your event, and then wait for you and then drive you back home. That's very
perfect.
cool.
Yeah, it is.
And that's an accessible avenue, But it's got to be days in advance.
Yeah,
like you can't
do it right at the spur of the moment.
No, I won't say you can, but it's unlikely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a scheduled event.
Yeah.
Well, and that's still pretty good though.
And they want the longer events, so I mean they're more likely to want a long trip, like, hey, I want to go to Tulsa or I want to go to Dallas,
Right.
or than they would, hey, I want to go to Quail Springs Mall for 3 hours.
Right, or I want to go to a concert and you pick me
Right.
back up afterwards.
Right.
No time limits on that though.
No.
No. Huh.
So that's a good option. So yeah, Las Vegas, Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is probably my favorite just because you feel like a regular person. When you're on the paratransit vehicle, you're on the quote unquote short bus. Shout out to my man Dickie if he's listening tonight. He's a veteran of the short bus, and you feel like you're on the quote short bus.
Gotcha.
You're on a special transit provider. But when you're in D.C. and you're on the subway, you see a guy with his briefcase making deals on his phone and getting work done, and people reading their books. It's nice to assimilate. That's what we want to do here at Handicap Media. We're making our presence felt. We are part of this society, and we just want to flow with traffic
Right.
like everyone else.
Just get on and off the subway and go
Yeah.
to somebody else. Yeah, that's cool though. But, I don't know that I pay attention to it enough. As the years have gone by, I pay attention to sidewalks way more than I ever had. And it's just, like obviously here in Oklahoma, there's just none.
Yeah.
Norman has some, which is a college town.
Right.
For the University of Oklahoma. And they have some. Edmond doesn't even have any, hardly. I mean,
No, and
not even around the universities.
yeah, Northwest Oklahoma City is the same way.
Yeah.
You won't find one on Northwest Expressway at all.
That's just crazy to me. But
Yeah.
the downfall is you see people riding around in their wheelchairs on the road.
Which is very dangerous.
Oh, it's extremely dangerous. Can't be seen out there. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
I can't. In the last 3-4 years, I've known personally 3 people who've been hit by cars in the
Wow.
wheelchair, and that's just because they're out.
Trying to make it.
Yeah, they're trying to make. I mean, they're trying to live.
Hey, I've got to get to Walmart. Hey,
Yeah,
I've
that's
got to get to my doctor.
Well, so many people, and you're not in that category, but so many people, they pick their apartment or where they're going to live according to what's around them.
Yeah.
There's a Walmart near me. There's a Walgreens. A food
I know
place.
if I ever move, I'm definitely going to move into that core quadrant to where I can ride the midnight. I want to be able to ride the bus till midnight.
Would you?
I would look at that, because and how that works, guys, nationwide, is the paratransit, anywhere a big bus is, you got to have a paratransit available within 3/4 of a mile of that big bus. So where the midnight is, there's a bus within 3/4 of a mile. Where I live, there's not a bus within 3/4 of a mile.
No,
So
not.
that is called complimentary paratransit. They don't have to provide that.
Gotcha.
They have to provide it wherever the big bus goes.
So
Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. So just so geographically, I'll understand. Where would that be in Oak City then? Like, where would the line- roughly.
the Midtown, the way out to Midwest City, the Northeast side, quite a ways north. Quail Springs has a big bus.
Oh, it goes out there. Okay.
Hershey's got a big bus,
Okay.
but
It probably ends about there as far as
yeah,
it goes
but
west.
out northwest and Northwest Expressway, there's not one.
Okay.
Past Rockwell,
Okay.
which I'm a little west
Which
of
is,
Rockwell.
just so listeners know, that's in still geographically very deep into the city.
highly populated.
Highly populated. Literally, you would know
Restaurants.
when you went from that zone to the next zone. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's Target, Walmart, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Car dealerships.
Right.
I mean, right down the road.
Right. Taco Bell.
But yeah. 24-hour McDonald's.
Right.
That used to be the only 24-hour McDonald's around.
I know.
You know that?
I know.
I have stories from college driving there just to get food.
Yeah.
3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, the luggage track.
Exactly right. And there'd be a line, dude. There'd be a line of people.
A wraparound.
That's
Yeah,
right.
a wraparound.
You'd see
line.
people you don't see in years. You're
Right.
like, hey,
Right.
McDonald's.
Exactly.
Well, that's interesting to me. That's such a challenge for you on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Like, and you go every day, right?
I go every day, yeah.
We talked a little bit this morning, but let the listeners know. Typical morning right now. Excuse me, JP's been having some problems
Right now,
with his PCA.
Right now, my PCA, and shout out to Shelly, great employee, but she's got some logistical issues. She's got babysitting issues, and her husband is working early morning shift. So what's happening right now is she's driving to me, getting to my home at 4 a.m, okay, helping me get ready for work, and then leaving around 5 to get back to her husband so he can go to work and be at work at 6, which is way in Midwest City. So I've been getting up very early and waiting then for my accessible ride to work based around my PCA schedule.
What time does
The paratransit,
come to pick you up?
it gets there between 7:45 and 8.
So you have a standing appointment almost?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a standing appointment
Okay.
both ways.
Both ways. Okay.
So that's been a challenge. And I'm not a morning person, so it's been an extra challenge. But I was telling Az this morning that, hey, I'm becoming one because I have this new half of my day now.
Yeah. Makes
There's
sense.
quiet. It's like I've been up for like 9 hours when everybody else is still scratching their, you know what?
Well, I tell them all the time, it's like, while you're sleeping in bed smacking your lips, I've been awake working already.
Right. And Az is a great example of a morning person.
I love mornings.
It really is a great thinking time.
Here's the problem with mornings, though. It's like I got all these ideas, and I got stuff going on in my head, and things I want to get done. So my natural, now if it's a buddy of mine, I'll send a text. I don't care at 5 a.m. But I can't send anybody I do business with a text at 5 a.m.
I've gotten a few of those from you.
Yeah, this is pretty common for me.
Blurry eyed, look at my phone. What is Az doing? Put him on the do not disturb list.
4:30 in the morning. Why is he texting me?
Yeah.
That's pretty normal.
And the ideas are coming fast.
And I got a bad problem with like breaking my sentences up in my text, and I might send 3 or 4 to get one point across.
Yeah.
That's
I was just talking
ding, ding.
I was talking to my secretary today about, I said, why do you send 15 sentences in one text? Because I didn't realize that every time she showed me, when you hit the space bar twice, it puts a period there.
Oh, I didn't know
automatically on the iPhone. So I thought, are you just that grammar intensive? Okay, period. We will get this up, period. It's like a novel's worth of sentences. So I was giving a hard time about that. So yeah, and people that break those up, and some phones, some friends their phone will break a text.
Oh, I know, break it up. And that's got to be annoying at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, ding, 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 ding. Yeah. I just love, we're talking about how technology today, how the tablets the tablets and the phones that are working. I always thought that my tablet, which is an Apple iPad, was not very accessible because it was so hard to hold. But with this Omni mount, I've got the ability to use my iPad much like my phone.
Yeah, so JP's got on his wheelchair, obviously, he's got usually the joystick attaches to one side of your chair through a piece of hardware. And on the other side, that has a mirrored piece of the hardware that would hold the joystick typically. And there's a mount created that actually holds iPads or phones or whatever you have it set up for. And his particular one's iPad Pro. But dude, that's just part of you now.
Right, it's part of me. It's part of my everyday functioning.
I mean, that's how you message everybody. Like I haven't seen you get I've been around JP for a long time, but he used to have his phone out lots of times. But now, since he's got this mount, he pretty much don't have your phone out at all anymore. It's all right there on your.
It's all right there, and it's so much more functional.
It's bigger. Everything.
In fact, when Az was dragging his ass at the UFC a few weeks ago when he had to pee 200 times, I watched the first 3 fights on the iPad.
Yeah, he did.
You know, because this guy lives in the bathroom.
I was in the bathroom. Well, we were drinking beers.
yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, no matter if he's drinking milk, folks. He's going to be in the bathroom.
It doesn't matter what I drink. That's right.
But, yeah. So the disability is so expensive to accommodate. So for me, as a working man who's not on Social Security, who's just working for a living, paying taxes, trying to get by, my disability expenses, if I was to estimate, would be at least $2,500 a month.
Wow.
Probably, when you factor in PCA and everything.
Yeah, PCA and everything. So, I mean, a good chunk of your income.
A huge chunk of my income. So, when you hear me talk about why not letting the working disabled keep their Social Security check to put towards that, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, now my disability check, when I got it, wouldn't put a dent in that amount, but it would help something, you know.
Well, it'd make a huge difference because you can do more.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so some people wouldn't be able to afford it. JP, some people wouldn't be able to afford a van, but if they could go to work and they got their SSI or whatever, still they could afford that van to go to work.
The van payment, yeah.
Yeah, they could afford the van to go to work.
And when I have these expenses, a lot of people choose not to go to work because they get more government help if they don't work.
Yeah, we've talked about that a couple times. You know, it's a new concept for me. I haven't played it all the way out, but it certainly makes sense on the front end. Because I do know so many people that are disabled.
So we're still creating taxpayers by putting people to work.
Yeah,
but they'd still be paying taxes.
Well, you could even put a threshold on how much they make, or I don't know. There's certain things you could do in there, but it still comes back to the one concept that you and I talk about over and over, which is how do you decide who does and who doesn't qualify for that program, because that's where the rub lies.
Yeah, who's disabled?
That's where you're going to get.
Well, let me just make it simple.
Let
me make it simple. Let me solve
it for me because I haven't.
Let me give world peace. If you need a lawyer to get on disability, if you are denied by the disability experts who work for Social Security, they tell you, no, you're not disabled enough, and you get a lawyer, and the lawyer gets you on disability, then you shouldn't have ever been on it.
There's the question mark, right?
Because that's all they do at Social Security is look at people's medicals and interview them and see if they're too disabled to work.
Do they do personal interviews on this?
Yes.
Yeah. See, there's my curiosity. But I mean, it's still possible somebody wrongfully could have been
Maybe
terminated.
not every time. If you write in and say, "Hey, I stubbed my toe last night. Can I get on disability?"
Right.
You send an app. They probably won't personally interview you,
Right.
but yes, and yeah, there are. I'm not going to say there's no corruption, no false people get on.
Right.
There probably is, but right now, a lot of the people with questionable disabilities, and no offense to any listeners, but chronic back pain, some of these hard to distinguish factors that you want to say you're too disabled to work any job. Keep in mind, the rule number one is you're too disabled to work any job in the USA. That's the first thing the regulations say.
Is that how the regulation reads?
Yeah.
Wow.
The too disabled to work any known occupation in the United States of America. Okay? That should narrow it down greatly.
Yeah.
So if you if they tell you no, there's still jobs you can work, and you go get the lawyer that appears during your episode of Dr. Phil when you see his commercial, and somehow he gets you on because he knows a way to finagle the system, then you probably shouldn't have been on it. I'm sorry.
I can't argue that point. Obviously there could be somebody that possibly got denied that shouldn't have got denied. I mean, I could see that happening, and then they might have a case to fight that, but then that becomes your gray area. But the hard part of it is in the employment world, there's just not enough places that are going to be focused on hiring people that are disabled.
Right, because
I don't want to call it a risk, but it's
right.
and because that can fire some people up. But there's a risk to it,
at least perceived. Yeah,
at least perceived. And you're gonna think you might think I'm crazy, but I don't believe in minimum wage. Okay.
All right.
But I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
So even from that standpoint, if you had population able to create jobs, even if they got paid less,
yeah,
right, and they created a Social Security where they still got paid something. I'm still new to this idea, so I'm kind of working through it. But you're able to create a lower end job, then you prove your worth.
Yeah, and that's the staple of America.
Well, it's not anymore though.
No.
So there's the hard part in the disabled community. It's even harder because to get a job somewhere, I worked at a place. The minimum wage the minimum pay was $16 an hour to come in the door.
Wow.
Yeah, to hire somebody there and take a risk on somebody is challenging.
Yeah.
You see my point?
Right.
So you have
to
have to come in with the mentality to say, hey, I'm going to prove to these people, and sometimes it takes a lower paying job to start there.
Yeah.
But
here's my other thing though, is people with severe disabilities, there are a few government programs that are tasked with putting the disabled to work. And my philosophy is people with severe disabilities like myself who have multiple daily life activity barriers, we need to train them up to get a better paying job, because if we get them, the minimum for getting off Social Security is a little over $1,000 a month. So we give them a job making $1,100 a month, and all their benefits stop, and then all of a sudden they have all these out of pocket.
You can't get to work, right? All this stuff, right?
Then they're gonna go, screw this! I'm getting back on benefits.
No, it makes of all of our conversations, is one thing you really persuaded me to start thinking more that direction, because we have a lot of like mindsets, even though we don't in some areas probably.
Yeah.
But that is something that really has made me think. I'm like, God, it makes perfect sense. But even it doesn't solve the problem, because you got to get the people who employ the people to start changing their mindset too.
Right. Even at a solid middle class wage.
Yeah.
It's not enough. When you have a severe disability that requires,
you cannot live. You couldn't live off of it. No way.
So what I hate to see is somebody try to work with all the fervor that America used to be known for, and then they want to fight their way up, and they realize, oh crap, what do you mean I'm not going to get a PCA? What do you mean that's another $1,000 a month? Oh crap, I don't qualify for this housing assistance anymore. And if I get up back on benefits, it all comes back.
Yeah,
I'll get back on benefits.
It's not. It's just, yeah. No, it's exactly what it is. Same concept.
Yeah.
Of having kids, and you have 3 kids, and you stay
Right.
home instead of sending them to daycare.
Right.
Because it's the same. You know, it's a wash, and it's
Exactly.
not. It's not
Exactly.
It's not promoting that. And to your point, when you have that person go to work, even though they are getting Social Security, they're still contributing to the tax.
They're still paying taxes.
That would have never been there.
Yeah,
before.
they would have never been there.
Yeah.
And that check doesn't change that, and it gives a little better chance that they'll stay at work.
It gives a lot better chance to stay.
Yeah, a lot better.
But the insurances aren't set up for that either. JP and I were talking about this earlier too. I have users who need a piece of equipment, and so they'll need a wheelchair, let's say, and that's the only way they're going to get to and from work.
Right.
The medical policies that are written are only for home. So if you tell them, hey, I need this chair to go to work, the insurance policy says I won't pay for it.
Yeah.
I won't get you that piece of equipment.
Because it's not for you to live, it's for you to go to work.
It's for you to work.
We don't think about it that way.
Yeah, which is crazy because that is living.
It's all part. Work is living.
It is
Well,
living.
living is work, and work is living.
Yeah.
And we've said this in a previous podcast, but how many people die as soon as they retire?
Oh, so many.
So many. Because work is more than a paycheck. Works give you purpose. Work is an example to your kids. Work is what everybody wants to do.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't have to choose when they have all these expenses. They shouldn't have to also choose, hey, here I am. I'm the government. Come over here. Let me pay for everything. Oh, you have to quit working, though. Quit working.
That's just crazy, right?
You know?
I know. That is nuts.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
And if you get people off benefits that shouldn't have been on it, here's the thing. And the great Dr. Tom Coburn, former U.S. Senator from Oklahoma, taught about the truly disabled. And he would always tell me that he was much maligned for talking about why the truly disabled should be the ones on benefits. But he's right. If we got off the people off benefits who were maybe borderline, then it would be easier to serve the people that are out there. And here's the problem. A lot of people are just plain struggling. They're just struggling in life.
Yeah.
And so they start to look at themselves and go, you know, my elbow is kind of hurt. And
Right.
they start thinking about ways they can get some kind of help.
Yeah. Well,
So-
it's learned helplessness.
It's learned helplessness.
We've created it. It's a monster in the United States. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason why 50% of the population's on some type of government assistance.
Wow. And, you know, there's actually counties. Dr. Coburn uncovered counties in Kentucky and Virginia in which pretty much the entire county was on benefits because of this one attorney. And he had a doctor's office set up in his law office.
Whoa.
Yeah, all that was uncovered by Dr. Coburn. And his name was Con, believe it or not.
Was it really?
His name was Con, C-O-N-N. And he got shut down finally. Coburn's report shut him down. And you can look all that up on YouTube, folks. It was on 60 Minutes. But Social Security is not a bad thing.
Nope.
But it needs to be there for the people it was intended for, because government programs are in trouble because too many people are on them because they've adopted learned helplessness.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't want to draw a line in the sand, but hey, let's get these programs set up for people who need them, and then let's start encouraging those people to work.
It's just it's so hard because, and again, my bias is going to come out a little bit here, but anytime that you have the government involved in something, the efficiency of it goes way down. And I'm not saying you can make it a private sector thing either. There has to be some type of mental change in the world where people start understanding, I'm not going to do everything for my child. I'm going to teach him how to do it.
Right.
And I'm going to teach him how to do it.
Right.
So we've got to get that mindset. It's even like the employers that are out there. They don't understand like how fulfilling it would be to like, let's go hire somebody to set their office up. Let's make it accessible for that person and get them into a work position, and then get somebody when you're hiring that person, getting the right person in there who's going to be motivated to give everything they got. Man, then that's a perfect marriage.
Embrace their pride.
Oh man,
to finally be working.
Oh, that would be, you would get more productivity out of that. But the problem is like you said, that person comes to work and they're like, why am I doing this?
I've lost everything.
I lost all my PCA.
I lost everything.
I lost my PCA. I can't afford to get here.
Now it takes me so much longer to get ready. Now my boss is wanting to fire me. It's a snowball. When actually, if we said, thank you for working, here's your benefits.
That's right.
Work away.
Hey, matter of fact, just to put a little carrot out there, if you do work, I'll give you just a little bit more to go do something.
There you go. There you go. You just earned a 15% increase.
I just gave you
for showing
your what is it? Your paratransit?
Yeah.
I just gave you paratransit for free.
Yeah, you took care of paratransit. I love it.
Now you can get to and from work.
Yeah.
You have a scheduled standing appointment.
I love it.
And that's all from you doing that. Plus, you still have your benefit.
And you're working.
But you gotta, and for you to keep that, you gotta go to work. You have to be at work 95% of the time, or whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
Follow within the PTO schedule of what you're working.
Absolutely, and that would, and then you get the influence of your coworkers. They begin to have a different perspective of the disabled, and it just snowballs in a good way. The whole mindset changes. As sports fans, we understand coaching, and we want to understand putting people in positions with a game plan, putting people in position to win. Right now, we're not putting the disabled in position to make plays to win games.
No, we're not. Not at all. We're not putting them in any position at all other than to stay home.
Stay home. Your chair's broke down. Well, it'll take 3 weeks to a month to hear back from the insurance.
Amen.
What do you mean you're going to get fired? Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's not a good system.
But hey, here's your benefits back.
No, it's not a good system at all.
Right. It's a cycle of learned helplessness.
That is all that is. It's nuts.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, that's crazy. But how do we crack out of that?
We talk about it. When a lot of times you hear the term wedge issues in politics. What's a couple of wedge issues? Gay marriage.
Right.
Guns.
Right.
Second Amendment. Couple of wedge issues, meaning it drives a wedge. People are passionate about it.
Abortion.
We got to get people passionate about disability issues, but not in the traditional sense. Not in the, oh yeah, I'm a hardcore conservative, or oh yeah, I'm a hardcore liberal. We got to get people excited about finding ways to teach people to get out of learned helplessness, to teach people to fish again.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're encouraging people to pick up their fish and go back home and eat them.
Or to have it delivered to their house.
Yeah, Postmates. Shout out. But we're not teaching them how to really get out there and help themselves.
Yeah, no. But I don't know how to fix that other than like you said, communication, but it starts with everyone else. I personally think in those terms. And I've been fortunate to have a wonderful career and been able to help people over all my years. And I'm very careful to brag on it. But
I think some of these point-to-point technological breakthroughs, peer-to-peer stuff like Uber and Airbnb, maybe the government could offer a tax incentive to somebody that want to get an accessible vehicle for the use of Uber, or to make their home more accessible for Airbnb.
I think it's got to, again, there's adding a government layer, right? And that's for me. I'm like,
that's scary.
I don't want to add another.
Yeah.
I say it's got to come from the people's heart. And that's my personal opinion of it.
Yeah.
When I look at that, I'm like, it's got to be a mindset of, I really, truly want to help people.
Yeah.
Because you get more out, and that's so cliche to say it, but you really, truly, to help that person and know that you've done something is extremely motivating.
I agree. I
mean, for the things that I get to do to help people all the time,
I agree.
They're extremely motivating. They're extremely, and it makes me want to do more of it.
Yeah, and when someone sees me working and they're like me and they go, wow, this is really your office, or wow, these people work for you, I want to be an example, and then I want that next person to have a chance to be better than me.
Right.
That's the way I want it to happen. And getting out here talking about these issues, get people to thinking, oh, well, I am a tab. I am temporarily able-bodied. So if I go ahead and make my house accessible, it'll be good for me when I'm older, and I can invite a new untapped customer base
right
to my Airbnb.
To it. Yeah.
You know, those kind of things. So the change does have to come at the hard level, because you can't legislate mindsets.
No.
Yeah.
They'll never be 100% into what they're doing or why they're doing it.
Right. It'd be like, okay, what's the minimum we have to do?
Right. Well,
yeah.
We dealt with that today. We went to early on this afternoon. We went to a restaurant to have lunch, and we're in the bathroom just checking it out for the vlog, kind of doing a review of the place. And JP's like, "Hey, this soap dish would be better to have the soap right next to the sink on the outside, so he can access it." But that's not an ADA requirement, so nobody did that. You know,
it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
You don't think of that stuff.
It's a functional improvement,
right?
But it's not an ADA requirement. And I've got to figure, and I love the ADA, so nobody posts comments that JP's against the ADA. I'm not. But I have to figure that if the ADA didn't happen, that surely we wouldn't be still dealing with 24-inch doorways and people in wheelchairs eating in the parking lot. Something would have happened. I gotta think,
well,
right?
Maybe. I mean, the stinker part of it is, for me, when I look at everything, the part of the problem is we're so layered today with so many. The government, for example, has so many laws and so many things we have to follow, that we've almost become, we tune everything out. We just kind of plod along because it's all done for us today.
That's true.
And so I've always been the one to say, hey, your local churches, your local community should take care of the people around you. But it just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. And that's the reason why laws are put into place and that are put there. It's just, but that becomes awareness, enough people talking about it. Look at whenever somebody does something's happened bad, and somebody speaks up, celebrity-wise.
Right.
They can make things happen. Right?
Right. That's right.
Yeah, J.J. Watt did the hurricane relief got $28 million.
Wow.
Right? You got $28 million. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get that overnight, but why aren't people speaking up for the handicapped population?
Has anybody looked into the impact of hurricanes on the disabled? Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh! Did you see the nursing home picture?
Wow! Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was literally these ladies were in walkers, like walkers you have to sit down on, and the water's up to their chest.
Wow!
Inside of a nursing home.
Wow!
Yeah. It's a crazy.
That's mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling. I mean, and here in Oklahoma we have to deal with tornadoes. Mm-hmm. Well, now we have earthquakes and everything else, but tornadoes are still our big deal.
Big one.
And I went through getting a storm shelter that was accessible a few years ago.
Did you get one? I didn't know that.
And it was a chore.
Was it in the house?
No, it's in my kind of on the side of my house, but
it's outside though.
Yeah, but it's accessible, and now I don't know that I could use it by myself. I was just thinking about this because it's got a huge, heavy door and all these things. So, but yeah, inside, fully concrete, accessible. But that's a
Well,
bit.
do you have Wi-Fi in there?
I think so.
You
yeah.
need to have Wi-Fi in there.
I think so. But I do have the cell signal. So
That's all.
I'm going to get out. Yeah. So storm safety is a big deal. You know, it really is.
Well, that's something we don't even think about. I just keep thinking like there needs to be an ambassador to the handicap population. Right?
Definitely. And little things that are not thought of. You know, I did a rant recently on Facebook about, you know, the fact that I've been a Sports Illustrated subscriber for 30 years, and they have an app now where you can read it on your iPad, but you can't have your iPad in landscape or widescreen mode. You have to have your iPad
I saw that. Yeah, we posted it on the page.
in portrait mode. So I thought, how easy of a fix is that?
Did they fix it?
Well, they haven't fixed it, but I did get a message from Sports Illustrated saying they were passing it along to the tech team.
Huh.
But it should be easy fix. By the way, the Playboy app is fully widescreen.
It's fully accessible.
Just in case anybody was wondering.
I haven't looked at that one, JP.
So I've heard that.
Oh, I've heard it. Okay.
I only use the Bible app,
Gotcha.
but I've heard the Playboy app is accessible.
That's good stuff.
So,
Good stuff.
and a lot of those are just programming issues that nobody thought of. But back to our solutions, we need to get lawyers out of government program qualification.
Yeah.
Monetary programs should not have attorneys. I'm sorry, there's a degree of mistake in all programs. So you have to write that off. But the fact that these people are getting on benefits from an attorney is infuriating, because not only are they on benefits now, but the attorney gets a piece of those benefits and some of the trust fund to pay for their fees.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know how to fix it. What we're doing today is helpful. You know, the fact that you're at the mall and somebody comes up to you and talks to you. I know you from that.
Yeah.
That's our first steps.
I'm going to look for some of those juice heads that guard Floyd Mayweather, and they're going to have to guard me.
That's exactly right. You're going to need that.
Yeah, Connor called them juice heads. They're Jersey boys that guard Floyd. I'm going to have to get me some of those so I can get through Penn Square Mall safely.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the first steps, in my opinion. We've got to have that conversation, and people got to recognize it, because a lot of people would look at you and look away, probably.
Right.
On a regular basis.
Right.
You know, as soon as you make eye contact, they're like,
yeah.
they're scared to turn their head.
Oh, what do I do?
Exactly. And so that's a barrier. Then you can realize that those people are normal human beings, just like everybody else. And then you can start to go, hey, is this person motivated or not? Could I work with them or not?
Right.
There's a whole different levels to that too. My famous thing is I always say, I don't care if you're in a wheelchair or out of a wheelchair, you're an asshole either way. Right? Yeah. You can be an asshole in a wheelchair.
Yeah, the asshole potential is the same.
It's the same.
It's the same. And, you know, these government programs are doing great things and helping some people get to work. They need to do their outreach in places where the truly disabled are. I go to like Jim Thorpe Rehab.
Yeah.
And I mention, hey, there are some programs out there that can help you find work. What? We've never heard of those, because those programs don't reach out to those populations.
That's right. Well, and I tell people when I've seen them about the programs that I know, I try to always share.
Yeah, not good. Because why? Because they're cash strapped. Because they got a bunch of damn people that shouldn't be on the program.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we talked about that. I was on a state board.
Yeah.
And I told you some of my state board. Yeah.
Ceremoniously dropped.
Yeah, exactly right. But you know, I was on the state board, and basically what I saw was there's a mental population. You have to have MR to be, which is mentally retarded, diagnosis to be on a particular program with the state. And those people are severely disabled. I mean, most all of them are from birth, and they have disability from birth, but they're not functioning human beings. They just can't do anything. I mean, they'll always be diapered and everything else.
Yeah.
And they need 24-hour care of some sort.
Right.
And And that is who we are supposed to take care of. I feel obligated to take care of that population. I really, truly feel obligated to do that. And what I saw was, because the fact that we were adding so many people to the Medicaid program, just whatever it is, you pick the program, WIC, whatever, I don't care. People get pissed off when I bring up any of the programs. But we were adding so many people to the program that those people were getting all other services cut.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who needed it. You know?
And some of those services are like a 2-year waiting list.
Oh, that particular program with the state here, yeah, it's over a 2-year waiting list just to get on it. But the fact that now those people are not getting the services they need.
Yeah.
So they're coming out to spread the wealth out, if you will, in the wrong terminology, but to spread it back out to everybody else, it just almost infuriates me.
President Bill Clinton used to say a couple of things that made me laugh. One of them was government programs people that run government programs couldn't organize a 2-car parade. And the other one would crack me up when he'd say, the 2 things you don't want to see made are laws and sausages. So, yeah, these government programs outdo themselves, because people that aren't impacted are putting these programs together, and then they end up being a big mess, and they end up costing more tax money to administer them.
Always good intentions, JP.
Always. Think about the thousands of Social Security employees whose job is to make sure people are not working.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's their job.
I mean, there's always a good intention behind it. And
if they're working, we're going to stop the benefits. So we need all these people to make sure they're not working.
That's just crazy.
But if they were able to work and keep their benefits, then we wouldn't need all those employees and the oversight.
That's right. And we'd have more tax money.
And we'd have more tax revenue.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I like it.
It's a basic arithmetic.
Well, I don't associate myself. I would say I used to associate myself with one political party for a long time. I'm more probably a libertarian today. Yeah. But there's so many things I just don't care about socially. Yeah. But when it comes to financial stuff, it's very important to me.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in a similar boat. I used to identify strictly with one party, but I'm more of a centrist now. Yep. And I really believe that the party lines are hurting us.
Yeah.
They really are. And people aren't looking at things the way they once did. Dr. Coburn told me once that, one vote with the other party in today's world can cost you your political career. The next election cycle.
Which is sad, dude.
Yeah, it should be. It's not that we ever did politics right, but we used to make deals.
Right.
We used to go, hey, yeah, we'll give you that. Give us this.
Right. There's too many earmarks today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's a whole different subject for me. But unfortunately, we got 2 extremes, one on either side. And like I said, I'm more in the middle on some certain things. But I definitely believe in smaller government and all these different, that type of world. I want less regulations, but the reality is not everybody's good people. But we've got to learn to go that direction.
We do,
and help those people. Those people, I'd gladly rather take my tax money, 35, whatever that percentage is. I'd rather take that money and go distribute to people that I want to distribute it to, right here in my community.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does.
And I could probably make that dollar go a lot further.
It does.
That type of world. So
it does make sense.
Yeah. It's a frustrating, JP and I are talking a little bit about it at lunch today. I was telling the liberal side of the world, which there's going to be a lot of people in the disabled community who are liberal in their thought process. But I call it a Smurfville, and we talked a little bit about that today. And it's tough because that's not necessarily the right mentality.
It's not.
And it's not necessarily the right mentality on the other side of the fence, which is, somebody might say, don't do anything for anybody. Because we do need to do stuff for people.
Right.
But we need to do it out of the kindness of our heart.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to figure that out. So,
but we have to find our way through this forest and get to the point to where we're all creating a country that is that gives opportunity to all.
Yeah.
One of the things about America, all the people coming over from Europe and other parts of the world, they all were able to find a trade, find a way to make a living, and they built the greatest country ever that fought our way through 2 world wars and a civil war and beat the greatest army on earth to even have a country. We've distinguished that fire a little bit.
Yeah. Well, no, we have. Yeah.
And it's a smoldering pile now. We need to get it flaming again, and the disabled are part of that.
Well, the technology is so good today.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked a lot about that in the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Podcast. Technology is so wonderful today that, and the minds of so many people that are physically disabled. There's a mentally disabled population.
Yeah.
But the physically disabled. I was just talking about this the other day with somebody, and I was like, "Hey, they're talking about you and JP," and I was like, "The guy's brilliant. His vocabulary is amazing. He's extremely intelligent, and we have to empower that handicapped population. I don't know how to do that because I want to give it to them. I want to motivate them.
Right. My son had foot surgery a few weeks ago, and at the doctor's office, surgery center, out there at Orthopedic Associates.
Yeah.
Off of May and Independence.
I know it well.
These people asked me on 3 different occasions if an adult was going home with me to take care of my son after the surgery.
You said right here?
An adult. I got so infuriated. What do you mean an adult? I'm an adult. What do you mean? They end up thinking I was a maniac in there because I was so frustrated.
God, did they really do that?
Oh, 3 different times. Well, we need to know, is your mother-in-law or somebody else going to be there? What do you mean, lady? You're a nurse. What is that? Is that something you play games on? Putting in my iPad?
No.
so frustrating. I've always wanted to see if the iPad would break under the duress of my skull. Can I start with yours? So
I can't believe they asked you that.
I can't either. Honestly, that's a rare. I want to say that's a rare thing.
Yeah, just the wrong person there.
But man, were they bad. They were so bad at this place. We have to make sure our patient. We have to look out for the welfare of our patient. What are you trying to say? That I'm not capable of caring for my kid? So this shows like we're doing, handicap media.
Right.
We're letting people do from the safety of their home go, wow, they are parents. They are working people.
That's right.
They want to live life just like we do. And then they go to work and they change that mindset over time. Mm-hmm. Over the coffee in the morning. Did you listen to that? You ought to go on to YouTube and listen to that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do here. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Well, no, it's going to take a lifetime for us to even get close to it, right?
Yeah.
But maybe we can influence a small population.
Yeah. Well, if I get cryogenics involved, if we come back in the year 3042 and everything, we're still, on the air. We'll see what happens.
We'll have to have E-Man and Braden carry on.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, dude, we've been at this. It's about time to wrap this bugger up.
What a great show, though.
Oh, I've had fun.
I've had fun,
too. Been rare that it's just been you and I. We didn't even get to recap any of the fun stories out there.
I know. We have. Stay tuned because we're going to be on there a lot, folks.
Yeah. Well, and if you know people who want to come on here, have them hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up on the website, handicapmedia.com. Comment on this YouTube video. If we're not on iTunes, we will be soon.
Yep, we're working towards
we're working
that.
on iTunes, possibly tune in for you Android users.
Yep.
So
On SoundCloud and all that stuff.
SoundCloud and everything. So stay with us. It's only going to get better. And thank you for listening.
Appreciate you guys.
Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like, do what you like to do, do what you like, do what you like, do what you like to do. Try to express yourself in your own way, and we could have some fun. No problems coming in our way. I would like you just the way you are, and you would like me just the way I am, and I would like you just the way you are, the way you are. Oh, keep on doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like, do what you like to do, do what you like, do what you like to, what you like to do. We shouldn't care about anyone who brings us down. Doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do.